is Rosmi B. Blanca, a second-year college student with the course BTVT Major in Food Service Management. So for today's video, I am going to react and have a personal reflection about the news report that I've watched about racism. So without further ado, let's jump to the video. So before I am going to react and have a personal reflection about the news report that I have watched about racism, let me first show you the news report from Gravitas, which talks about Western media's racist reportage on Ukrainian refugees. So, here's the video.
You've seen the situation in Ukraine, you've seen how the world is responding. Now let me show you how the world is covering this invasion. I'm talking about the media, especially Western channels. How are they covering Russia's invasion? With blatant racism. Let me say something at the outset. As journalists, we do not filter hardships and pain. We do not see caste, color or gender. And we have stuck by this principle. When the Taliban stormed Kabul, we stood with Afghans. When Ethiopia attacked its own people, we questioned them. When unarmed black teenagers were gunned down in the US, we joined the outrage. Today we are doing the same. We see the plight of the Ukrainian people and we have reported on their hardships. But what about the Western media? They too are reporting on the crisis, on the war, on the refugees. But they do not see hardships. They only see race, the color of your skin, the color of your hair. Let me show you exhibit number 1. This exchange happened on the BBC, the so-called Guardian of Unbiased Reportage. Listen to how their panel describes the refugees from Ukraine.
It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed.
People with blue eyes and blonde hair. That is why the so-called expert on the BBC is emotional, not because the people are homeless, not because their country is being invaded, but because their hair is blonde. On social media, a lot of people are defending the BBC. They say it's a guest, not their anchor. NBC News from the US. Listen to this.
These are not refugees from Syria. These are Christians, they're white, they're very similar.
Very similar to us. How so? Because the Syrian refugees are Muslims, their skin is darker, their hair is not blonde. So Europe does not want them. And remember, this is not being said at some white supremacy cult. This is happening on live television.
So now we are done watching the news report from Gravitas. So let me share to you my personal reaction and reflection about the news. So as you can see, or as we can see in the reporter's first statement, it is all about the world's covering Russia's invasions, which she talks about or pointed out the Western media who is covering the Russia's invasion with blatant of racism. It was also stated in the news about John Lest's quote, which is somehow true enough to awaken the peoples from judgments and negative thoughts about other people. It says, we do not filter hardships and pain. We do not see caste, color, or gender, and that's stuck in our principle. So, from this quote, it is clearly says we don't have to fake what are the things that we do in life, especially our emotions, and we don't have to see or look other people because they are different or we are different from each other. We don't have to judge them because of their skin color, hair color, culture, religions, belief, and even in gender. There's a famous saying that do not do unto other if you don't want others do unto you. So instead of racism or discrimination and judgment, we need to help each other without greed in power and respect one another to make the world a better place to live in. Furthermore, we've been aware about the situation between Ukraine and Russia, and it really have a big impact in all the countries in the world. We've been aware of what happened outside of our country because of media and reporters or news reports. The news report from the Gravitas, it talks about Western media reportage on Ukrainian refugees. Western media do reporting on the crisis and the war and refugees, but they do not see hardship. Instead, they see risk, the color of the skin and hair, meaning they are being unfair of what they've been doing. According to the news report about the BBC News, they show us how the BBC panels report and describe the refugees in the Ukraine, which stated that the European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed. This make the expert on BBC is emotional. These people with blue eyes and blonde hair are killed not because they are homeless or their country is invaded, but because of the color of their eyes and hair. It is not ethical to kill someone because of the color of their eyes and skin, because they are different. So where's the human rights there? Another is the reporter from Gravitas also shows us the NBC News from US, which the reporter says that these are refugees from Syria. They are Christians, they're white, they're very similar to us. From the word Christian and white, it is a slang for Syria people, because we all know that Syria is a Muslim country and most of the people there are dark color and Muslim. So a little advice for those people out there, just remember that if we are having a conversation with other people, especially in other countries with different color, gender, culture, religion, and belief, we must think first before we speak. So meaning we must think good things, all positive things and words that we are going to say without hurting their feelings, without judging them and discriminate them. Most importantly, we must respect one another. If we respect them, they also respect us. So with respect, we can have the love that we want to have. Thank you.